Hey everyone, Jamie Bateman with Labrador Lending here, and today I wanted to shoot a quick video comparing buy and hold rental property with note investing. So most people are somewhat familiar with how rental property investing works, but maybe you're unfamiliar with note investing. So every asset class, every strategy, every approach to investing has pros and cons, and note investing is no different, and one way to point that out is to compare it to another asset class. So I wrote an article almost 2 years ago now on our website, labradorlending.com, and it's entitled Notes versus Real Estate, Which One Wins? So I'm going to quickly go through some of the key points I made 2 years ago and maybe update a couple things as we go along. First point to compare between these two asset classes is property control versus property ownership. When you are a landlord, you own the property and you inherit any of the upside and downside associated with that ownership. When you own a note, you are the bank, you are the lender, and you control the property. So a lot of people would maybe give the nod to property control there when comparing these two, but some people may not. It's just something to understand when comparing the notes to rental properties. Now, obviously, CFDs and land contracts, you're kind of in between the two there. So there are ways to be a note investor and still own the property. But in the true sense of being a note investor, you do not own the property, you control the property. Number two, leverage. With note investing, leverage can be pretty challenging, meaning you're not going to walk into a bank and ask for a loan in order to go buy a note. You can do that, but it's likely not going to be very effective. There are certainly ways to leverage your note business and leverage particular deals through selling partials, doing joint ventures, running a fund, but it's not quite as easy as going out and buying hard real estate that is going to be a rental property and getting a loan on that. So in that sense, note investing can be a lot more capital intensive and not quite as straightforward when trying to seek leverage. The third factor that we're looking at is deal flow. Now, 2 years ago, now this just means access to deals, finding a rental property versus finding a note to purchase. 2 years ago, I gave the nod here to real estate. I don't know if I would do that at this point. I think both asset classes have really tightened up as far as deal flow. It's tough to find rental properties across the country, and it's tough to find quality notes that have a really strong yield. I actually might give the nod to notes at this point, but everything is so dependent on your network and the location and all kinds of things. So deal flow is another thing to consider. Generally speaking, the note space is much smaller than the real estate space. So you really got to get out there and network with people. Effort and time required. Now, this is a big one. A lot of people like to sell note investing as passive compared to being a landlord, and that can be true on some levels. You can certainly be a note investor by having an internet connection and a cell phone. That is absolutely true. You're not out swinging a hammer and doing physical work. But the fact is, you can be a rental property owner from a distance with a property manager as well. So if I had to choose which one was more passive, I would say note investing. But if you're running a non-performing note business, it's anything but passive. I'd say physical, as far as the physical requirements and managing contractors and that kind of thing, I would say there's more effort and time involved with being a landlord. And theoretically, you could get that 2 a.m. call from your tenant when the toilet is clogged, although that's never happened to me. Another key point to compare these two asset classes with is the long-term value of the asset. No question about it, a rental property wins here. certainly your asset can go down in value and can depreciate if you're a landlord, but generally speaking, across time and in most markets, the value of that property is going to appreciate. Whereas when you're a note holder, a note investor, and your borrower is paying down that principal balance, if you're looking 20 years out from now, the value of that note is going to be less than it is today. So that's certainly a nod to being a landlord or buy and hold rental property owner. The next point we're going to consider is tax implications. No question about this one. Being a landlord just has better tax implications. There are better built-in tax advantages with hard real estate as compared to notes. There truly are no tax advantages to note investing, and that's why I often recommend people use a self-directed IRA or some other tax advantaged account to buy their notes through. Whereas real estate, you can run into UBIT issues and other depreciation issues with being a landlord through an IRA. Not saying it's not a good idea, but real estate, the asset class itself, comes with inherent tax benefits, and notes simply don't. Versatility I have here. Basically, this implies that you have a lot of exit strategies with notes, and although there certainly are several different exit strategies with rental properties as well, when I wrote this, I was thinking, you can exit through the borrower, you can sell a partial, you can exit through the property. There's all kinds of different exit strategies with note investing, which is certainly true. However, there are many different exit strategies with a buy and hold rental as well. If you just get sick of it, you can sell the property on owner financing and create a note that way. So in some senses, these two strategies can really work synergistically. And in fact, we've been able to work across both asset classes in that way. You can check out our Jacksonville case study on our website, on our blog page, labradorlending.com, for more information how we exited a non-performing loan and we're able to capitalize on that, and that is a current long-distance rental property in our portfolio now. So, which one should you consider if you're new to both, or you're not sure? Should I get into a buy and hold rental? Should I get into performing first lien notes? In some ways, there are a lot of similarities, but there are some key differences. And like we said, long-term value of the asset, tax implications are probably going to be better for buy and hold real estate. The effort and time required and ability to scale from anywhere is better with note investing, I would say. Property control, I'll have to give the nod to notes. Leverage, I'll have to give the nod to being a landlord. So I hope you found this video valuable. Like I said, we continue to grow our rental portfolio, although we are more focused on our note business at this time. You've got to consider your own personal situation. Do you need tax benefits? Do you just need income? What are you looking for? And are you willing to run a note business? Do you want to be a landlord? What are the market conditions in your area? Where are your strengths? Do you have boots on the ground somewhere? You got to play to the market conditions and play to your strengths to figure out which way to go. One other thing I'll mention before we wrap up here is don't try to do everything at once. Focus on one of these strategies. If you're going to try to do both of these, focus on one for a few years, get good at that, and then pivot over to another. And that's exactly what we did. We focused on our buy and hold rentals through the Burr method, scaled, hired a property manager. I really don't do a whole lot with that business right now, some bookkeeping, and then we pivoted over to our notes, and that's really what we're focused on. 80 to 90% of the time is our note business. So I hope you've found some value with this video, and please feel free to reach out with any questions. Bateman James at labradorlending.com, and labradorlending.com, our website, has a lot of valuable information, and also please sign up for our newsletter. We do that weekly, and we like to put out a lot of value there as well. So thanks for watching.